Good day, everyone. This is Don, and welcome to another learning session for today. We're going to discuss ethical standards of communication and identification of fake news. These are lessons 20 and 21, which will be the last two lessons of our course, which is about the Philippine popular culture. Let me read to you the learning objectives of today. At the end of this session, you will be able to distinguish reporting from social media and reporting with journalism standard. Examine scenes that promote or follow the standard of journalism. Outline the right facts in identifying fake news and evaluate some viral news on social media. But before that, let's have a lesson preview and review of the past lessons. Okay, I want you to pause this video and differentiate pop culture, folk culture, and cultural phenomenon or the bandwagon effect. Assuming that you have paused this video, of course, we're very much well rounded when it comes to popular culture. These are pertaining to concepts like X corporation and corporation, where, for example, sa X corporation, yung popular na culture ay ah, kung saan ang item ng dominant culture ay minamodify to fit the interests of the subordinate groups of the social system. Ang mga example natin dyan before, yung 7-Eleven nagiging 7-Evelyn, there is a contextualization and adaptation. And also, we have incorporation, where uh, it is when the members of a society accept the preferred meaning of an item. So, walang ginagawang modification or adaptation. It is what it is, right? Now, when it comes to folk culture, this refers to the products and practices of relatively homogeneous and isolated small scale social groups like the indigenous people living in rural location. Kaya nga sinabi natin before na ang folk culture ay mas simple, generally conservative, and self-sufficient. Kasi usually, folk culture are conservative because these are coming from the indigenous people. Okay. Now, we also have the bandwagon effect or yung tinatawag nating cultural phenomenon. Dito pumapasok yung idea na everyone else are doing it, so I have to do it. No, this is a way where it occurs when certain individuals behave a certain way merely because other individuals do as well. No, when something or someone gains widespread popularity, people tend to adopt it. No, and that is the bandwagon effect. Ang mga example natin dyan, kung babalikan ninyo, yung K-pop global phenomenon, yung My Way killings, the Pacquiao phenomenon, the Filipino ability to smile during disaster, the bahala na or the fatality or the fatalistic attitude, the Filipino text messaging phenomenon, the social media phenomenon, and also the Filipino teleserye phenomenon. And I hope that these three concepts or lectures are clear to you because we're going to move forward with fake news and ethical communication. Uh, let's first define what is a fake news. Now, if you read the definition or in simple terms, ang fake news ay ang mga maling impormasyon o balita na sadyang ginawa or ipinagkakalat upang mag-mislead or manlinlang or manira or magpasikat or to manipulate an opinion of something or of someone or of the public. In simple terms, fake news or fake information that appears to be truthful pero hindi. Okay? So, mamaya i-discuss pa natin ito intricately. No, fake news continues to run rampant today. Napakaraming fake news. And it's very important that not just personally but throughout social media, networking sites, in the news, no? And napakahalaga na matuto tayo kung paano mag-differentiate at mag-evaluate ng information. Kung ano yung tama, sa hindi tama, kung ano yung totoo sa peke. And of course, we have to pay attention on the ethics in the workplace, in the communication context to do this. Okay, now let's define what is ethical communication. Ethical communication refers to a way of communicating, or it refers to communicating in a manner that is clear, concise, truthful, and responsible. Bakit kailangan clear, concise, truthful, and responsible? No, in the context of profession, no? Uh, i-elaborate natin later on. Okay. Communication should be clear. Bakit? Because clear communication is for understanding. Kapag clear yung message natin, syempre mas naiintindihan tayo ng mga tao kung ano yung gusto nating sabihin. Dahil naiintindihan tayo, less ang confusion and fewer ang mistakes and misunderstanding. And when there is an instruction and expectation, nako-communicate natin and napafollow ito ng tama. Without clarity, or without the ability of being clear when it comes to communication, maaaring magkaroon ng misunderstanding. And misunderstanding leads to conflicts, errors, and wasted time and misunderstanding. That's why ethical communication should be clear. Also, it should be responsible. Responsible in terms of its ethical impact. Being responsible means, halimbawa, thinking before speaking or posting. Yun bang sasabihin ko o yung ipopost ko, tama? Makakasakit ba ito? Or makakasira or makakadegrade ng isang personalidad or ng tao or ng institution? Okay? We have to be responsible. We have to consider how our words will affect others to avoid harm, discrimination, or misinformation. Responsible communication builds trust and protects both your reputation and the others. Next, nabanggit din dyan yung word na concise. Concise communication is for efficiency. Ano bang ibig sabihin kapag naging concise tayo sa pakikipag-communicate? It means that we say what is necessary without unnecessary details. No? We are respecting other people's time. That's why we have to be direct. And we are making our message to be easy or easier to be remembered. No? In academic, professional, and workplace setting, no, concise communication is highly valued because it shows professionalism and critical thinking. So hindi na tayo kung ang dami-dami pang sinasabi. We have to be directly addressing what is needed or what is being asked from us. Okay, concise communication. Nabanggit din dyan yung truthful communication. Truthful communication is for credibility because truth builds trust, integrity, strong relationship, and long-term credibility. Kapag na-damage na yung credibility, no, ng communication, mahirap na itong i-restore. That's why truthful communication prevents the spread of misinformation and strengthens professional and personal relationships. So, this is the reason, or these are the reason why ethical communication is very important. And moving forward, we have the fundamentals of ethical communication. Okay, under the fundamentals, we're going to discuss the three fundamentals na banggit na rin natin kanina. But let's expound this anyway. Okay, number one, responsible communication. Okay, ang pagiging responsable sa komunikasyon ay nangangahulugang yung mga information natin ay tumpak at totoo. Yung mga information na binabahagi natin ay tumpak at totoo. Being responsible also means that we are liable, we are responsible may pananagutan sa magiging epekto ng mga sinasalita or pinopost natin. Okay? It means also respecting the dignity and the rights of uh, the sender or the receiver or yung kausap natin. So, iniiwasan natin yung paninira, discrimination, and of course, panlilinlang or misleading. Maingat din sa social media, kung sa social media ito. We're doing fact-checking before sharing. That is the responsible communication as a fundamental for ethical communication. Ibig sabihin, iniisip muna natin ang posibleng epekto bago magsalita or magpahayag ng informasyon. The next is decision making, or in Tagalog, ito ay ang maayos na pagpapasya or ethical decision making. Ito ay ang kakayahang pumili ng tamang kilos batay sa katotohanan, no? Ano ba yung ebidensya? Totoo ba ito? Katarungan, okay? Is it justifiable? Is it just? Makatarungan ba ito sa lahat ng panig, or are we being biased, no, in the context of communication? Overall welfare, nakakabuti ba ito sa lahat? Makakatulong ba ito, or pag sinabi ba natin ito ay makakasama or makakadegrade ng image ng tao or ng institution? Paggalang, nire-respeto ba nito ang iba't ibang mga pananaw? In short, the decision making here and the fundamentals of ethical communication pertains to uh, being considerate, not just because an information is trendy or something is legal, kung hindi kinoconsider din natin yung moral and yung makataong decision making when we are trying to communicate. Okay? Number three is development of relationships and communities, no? Or in Filipino, pagbuo ng relasyon at komunidad. Layunin ng ethical na komunikasyon ang pagpapalakas ng tiwala sa isa't isa, ang bukas at maayos na dialogue kahit may hindi pagkakasundo, no? At ang pakikipag-ugnayan na may empathy and understanding. May pagkakaisa sa halip na pagkakahati-hati, because that is the goal of communication, to be understood and to be able to listen also, no? Ang komunikasyon ay hindi lang pagpapahayag ng opinion, kundi pagpapahayag upang mataguyod ang respeto, kooperasyon at pagkakaisa ng komunidad. Okay. So these are the three fundamentals of ethical communication. And if we are going to summarize this, it just means that an ethical communication means saying or communicating or pagsasalita at pagbabahagi ng impormasyon ng may katotohanan, pananagutan, at malasakit sa kapwa upang makabuo ng mas matibay at positibong ugnayan sa lipunan. Okay? At this juncture, if you have any questions, feel free to message me in the group chat and I'll be very happy to assist you. Principles of ethical communication. Ang ethical communication ay paraan ng pakikipag-usap na may integrity, respeto at responsibilidad. At narito ang apat na pangunahing prinsipyo. Okay? Yung ensuring transparency and honesty, understanding your audience, respecting confidentiality and privacy, and choosing the right time and place. Number one, ensuring transparency and honesty. Dapat maging malinaw at totoo sa impormasyon na ibinibigay. Iwasan natin ang panlilinlang, exaggeration, o even ang fake news. Sabihin natin ang facts as they are. So let's be transparent and honest. Number two, understanding your audience. It is very important that we know our audience. Kilalanin ang kausap mo. Ano ang background nila, ang kanilang level of understanding, ang kanilang culture. We have to adjust the language and the approach so that our audience uh, will understand what we are trying to make them understand, no? Or what we are trying to communicate para mas maintindihan kanila. Number three, respecting confidentiality and privacy. Igalang ang mga private and confidential information. Meron nga tayong Data Privacy Act. And huwag tayong mag-share ng mga personal or sensitive details na wala namang consent. Okay? Number four, choosing the right time and place. Hindi lang ano ang sinasabi ang mahalaga, kundi kailan, okay? Right time. At saan? Right place. Ito sinasabi. Piliin ang tamang timing at setting para maiwasan ang misunderstanding or conflict. Okay? In short, ethical communication means being truthful, respectful, mindful, and responsible sa lahat ng ating sinasabi at ginagawa. Now, moving forward, let's differentiate reporting versus journalism. Okay. Ano ba yung sinasabi dito sa table na ito? Okay. Let's start with reporting. Reporting focuses on delivering immediate information. Immediate. Okay? Dahil sa internet, naging mabilis at libre ang access sa balita. No? Immediate information. Halimbawa, kapag may plane crash or bagyo or breaking news, unang lumalabas ang reports online through social media, pwede ring TV or radio. So, ang bilis ng reporting, ang bilis ng information. Ang goal ng reporting ay speed and immediacy. Kaya minsan, no, by the time na lumalabas ito sa print, luma na ang balita kasi nabalita na somewhere, halimbawa sa social media. Ngayon, ang journalism, okay, kung ang reporting ay it's more of speed and immediacy, ang journalism naman, it goes deeper than just reporting facts. Hindi lang ito ano ang nangyayari, kundi explaining or diving deeper or reflecting bakit nangyayari, paano nangyayari, at ano ang epekto nito. No? Kasama dito, it's not just merely reporting. Kasama dito yung investigation, analysis, and thoughtful commentary. Kumbaga, mas in-depth, mas contextual, at mas critical ang approach sa journalism. In short, reporting is about telling people what happened, while journalism is about helping people to understand what it means. Now, to understand this fully, tignan natin itong difference ng or comparison ng reporting and journalism sa example na sa slide na ito. Now, if you will look, yung reporting, it's like a 747 aircraft crash in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean yesterday. That's it. Diretso lang sa facts na may nag-crash na aircraft 747 sa Atlantic Ocean kahapon. No, sinasagot lang nito yung basic question, anong nangyari, no? And it's objective and immediate when it comes to its delivery. Ngayon, on the journalism side, no, pwedeng maging ganito. A review of maintenance reports revealed that the airplane had a faulty engine and management ignored warnings. So mas malalim ang pagtalakay ng issue. Sinasagot ang why and how, hindi lang what happened. No? May investigation, may analysis, may accountability, mas in-depth. No? In simple terms, a reporter tells you what happened. A journalist helps you understand why it happened and who is responsible. Okay? So while reporting is about speed and facts, journalism is about depth, context, and truth seeking. So yun yung pinagkaiba ng journalism sa reporting. Now, moving forward, we have here the next slide, which is about the principles of ethical journalism or the Society of Professional Journalistic Code of Ethics. Okay, may i-discuss tayong apat. Number one, seek truth and report it. Now, sabi dito, ethical journalism should be accurate and fair. Journalists should be honest and courageous in gathering, reporting, and interpreting information. Seek truth and report it. Ibig sabihin, ang journalist dapat tapat, accurate, at fair sa pagkuha at pagbabalita ng impormasyon. Hindi pwedeng haka-haka lang. Kailangan may verification at mas malakas ng loob magsabi ng totoo kahit mahirap. Seek truth and report it. Number two, minimize harm. Ethical journalism Treat sources, subjects, colleagues, and members of the public as human beings. Human beings deserve of respect. Minimize harm would mean sa pagbabalita, dapat may respeto at malasakit sa mga taong involved, sa mga sources, subjects, at sa publiko. Hindi lahat ng information ay kailangang ibunyag kung makakasakit lang o makakasira ng hindi naman kailangan. Again, hindi naman kailangan. Number three, act independently. The highest and primary obligation of ethical journalism is to serve the public. Act independently. Ang pangunahing responsibility ng journalist ay maglingkod sa publiko, hindi sa personal interest, hindi sa politika, hindi sa negosyo. So iwasan ang bias at conflict of interest. Number four, be accountable and transparent. Now, ethical journalism means taking responsibility for one's work and explaining one's decision to the public. Act independently. Be accountable and transparent. Dapat handang managot at magpaliwanag ang journalist sa kanyang trabaho kapag may mali, inaamin at kinukorek ito. Because transparency builds trust. Now, I want also to explain the freedom of speech. Now, I want you to read this as you navigate this video, but let's discuss it in a summarized way. No, ano bang sinasabi dyan? Ang freedom of speech ay karapatan ng tao na magpahayag ng opinion. We're very much aware of this, I think. At ideya ng walang takot or censorship o parusa. Hindi lang ito pagsasalita, no? Sinasabi dyan, kasama rin ang pagsusulat, pagpo-post online, and other forms of expression. So yun yung freedom of speech. Hindi lang siya literal na pagsasalita or speech. And kinakilala ito ng Universal Declaration of Human Rights ng United Nations. No, though iba-iba yung pagpapatupad nito or interpretation nito sa bawat bansa, no? Um, Tandaan din natin na bagamat may kalayaan tayo, no? We have freedom of speech, may mga limitation pa rin, no? Katulad ng halimbawa sa hate speech, obscenity and defamation. And we have to be responsible for that. Now, let's proceed to fake news. Kanina napahapyawan na natin ito. So again, the term fake news means news articles or information that are intentionally and verifiably false. Now, it was designed to manipulate people's perception of real facts, events, and statements. It is about information presented as news that is known by its promoter to be false, alam niyang mali, but pwede ring based on facts that are demonstrably incorrect. Pwedeng hango sa fact pero mali pa din. Or ginamit yung fact to deceive. Or it could be also statements or events that verifiably did not happen. No? Another definition is that fake news is fabricated information which mimics news media content, informed but lacks the news media's editorial norms and processes, no, for ensuring the accuracy and credibility of information. No? So, sa madaling salita, ang fake news ay katulad ng sinabi natin kanina, mga maling impormasyon o balita na sadyang ginawa or ipinapakalat upang mandinlang, manira, magpasikat, or manipulahin ang opinion ng publiko. In simple terms, these are fake news or fake information na mukhang totoo or it appears to be true pero hindi. Okay? Now, maraming uri din, ano? Fake news is such a broad term. And i-discuss natin yung mga differences ng misinformation, disinformation, at fake news. Kasi nga sabi dun kanina sa definition natin ng fake news, it overlaps with misinformation, false or misleading information, and disinformation, which is about false information purposely spread to mislead people. So tatlo yan, no? We have disinformation, misinformation, and fake news. So let's differentiate each of the concept. Now, the universe of fake news is such a broad uh, and large area, no? Ang universe ng fake news ay mas malawak kaysa sa simpleng maling balita lang, no? Kasi we would often associate fake news as maling balita, no? Hindi lahat ng fake news ay totally false, tandaan din natin 'yan. No, may mga kwento na may konting katotohanan, there is a bit of information or fact into it, pero kulang sa context or mahirap i-verify. May mga kwento rin na may basic verifiable facts, pero ginagamit ito para ah, para i-manipulate ang something, no? These basic variable or verifiable facts are being used to deliberately uh, excite, pwedeng ganon, mga kwento na may basic verifiable facts pero gamit ang deliberately inflammatory na language. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin nun, sadyang nakaka-excite or nakakapikon, okay, para manipulahin ang damdamin ng readers. No? Pwede rin nilang iwan ang impormasyon or importanteng detalye o ipakita lang ang isang viewpoint kaya nagiging misleading pa rin. Ito yung mga kino-quote yung mga tao or kinukuha lang yung specific clip, no? Fact nga siya pero ginamit siya, no? Single viewpoint lang para i-mislead ang ibang tao, no? Kaya ang fake news ay bahagi lang ng mas malaking ecosystem ng misinformation at disinformation. No, kasama lahat ng klase ng misleading, manipulative, o mali na impormasyon na kumakalat sa media at social platforms. Now, speaking of that, okay, let's differentiate yung tatlo, no? Yung disinformation, fake news, and misinformation. Now, sinasabi dyan na ang misinformation ay false information that is spread regardless of whether there is intent to mislead, no? Ito yung ang misinformation ay false information na na-spread or naikalat pero hindi laging may intensyon na lokohin ang tao. Pwedeng kumalat ito nang walang intention para lokohin ang ibang tao or mislead ang mga tao. It's just that it's a false information na kumalat. Example, okay, may nakita kang post sa Facebook na mali ang fact, pero hindi mo alam na mali yon and then shinare mo lang. O, misinformation yon, no? Next, disinformation. Deliberately misleading or biased information, manipulated narrative or facts or propaganda. Ito naman ay deliberate o sadyang panlilin lang. O kanina, pwedeng hindi mo intention sa misinformation. Sa disinformation, deliberate. So, ibig sabihin, sinadyang panlilin lang. May intention talagang manipulahin o baguhin ang narrative at facts para sa sariling interest. Halimbawa, fake statistics na gumagamit para suportahan ang isang political agenda. Na halimbawa, sinasabi sa survey na ito na malakas ang ganitong kandidato pero hindi naman talaga totoo yung survey na yon, yung statistic na yon. That is disinformation. Lastly, fake news. Purposely crafted, sensational, emotionally charged, misleading, or totally fabricated information that mimics the form of mainstream news. Ito yung klase ng news na purposely crafted para magpagmukaing totoo ang balita. Pero sensational, emotional at misleading ito. Kadalasang kumakalat sa social media para makakuha ng atensyon or manipulahin ang perception ng mga audiences. Okay, ano ba yung sensational? No? Kasi nabanggit. Sensational means something that grabs attention in a dramatic, exaggerated, or shocking way. Kadalasan, para mapukaw ang emotion ng tao. No? Halimbawa, ang normal news ay ganito. Mayor inaugurated new park today. Pero ang sensationalized version nun, Mayor spends millions on a flashy park while citizens go hungry. No, kung mapapansin ninyo, mas dramatic, mas emotional at nakakakuha ng atensyon kahit hindi ganun kabigat ang realidad. That is sensationalism in journalism. Now, moving forward, meron tayong 10 types of mis and disinformation. Okay, ano-ano yung mga yon? Number one is false connection. Now, pag false connection, hindi tugma ang headline sa nilalaman. Halimbawa, may balita, no? May headline yon. Ngayon, yung headline, no, hindi siya tugma dun sa content noong information or yung balita, no? Next, false context. When genuine content is shared with false contextual information. No, totoo yung info pero mali yung konteksto. That's false context. Next, manipulated content. No? When genuine information or imagery is manipulated to deceive. Ibig sabihin, binabago ang larawan or impormasyon para manlinlang. Okay, minamanipulate yung content. Next, satire or parody. No intention to cause harm but has potential to fool. No? Binabago yung content or yung larawan. Pabiro pero maaaring makapanlin lang. No? Usually, makikita natin yung mga satire or parody sa mga vlogs, say for example. Maaring biro yon pero maaaring makapanlin lang din ito, no? If hindi ito maayos na na-communicate. Next, misleading content. Misleading use of information to frame an issue or individual. Okay? Nakaliligaw na paggamit ng impormasyon. Misleading. Imposter content. No, imposter from the word in itself, imposter, ginagaya ang tunay na source. No, nagiging impostor. No, fabricated content. No, fabricated would mean ganap na gawa-gawa. Propaganda, ginagamit para impluwensyahan ang opinion. No, mga propaganda. Sponsored content, mga halimbawa nito, mga patalastas na nagkukunwaring balita, mga content na nagkukunwaring balita pero sa totoo sponsored, no? Next is error, no? When established news organizations make mistakes while reporting. Halimbawa, nagsulat ang isang um, news organization pero nagkamali sila sa pag-uulat. That is an error. Okay? Those are the 10 types of mis and disinformation. Now, the next question is, how to spot fake news? Okay, paliwanag natin. Number one, consider the source. Suriin natin yung pinagmulan. Alamin natin kung legitimate ba yung source, yung website or organization na nag-post nun or gawa-gawa lang. Okay? So, huwag mong maniwala agad sa information na presented. Next, basahin ng buo. Okay? Or read beyond. Headlines can be outrageous in an effort to get clicks. No? What's the whole story? So again, minsan yung mga headlines sensationalized or niro-romanticize or ginagawang um, medyo emotional or uh, sinadya siyang gawing ganon para mas makahikayat ng attention. So dapat, hindi lang natin basahin yung headline. Basahin natin ng buo yung article. Huwag magpadala sa nakakashock na headline, in short. Next, check the author. Tingnan natin kung sino yung may akda. Totoo ba at mapagkakatiwalaan ba siya? Check natin yung author. Supporting sources. I-check yung mga evidences. May supporting sources ba? Legit ba yung mga information at sources na yan? Next, tingnan natin yung date. O nangyayari yan yung mga holiday. Tapos last year pa pala yung holiday na yon. Baka luma na yung balita. So, we have to check the date because reposting old news stories doesn't mean they are relevant to current events. Kasi nga last year pa yon, di ba? So, pinost mo, walang pasok, last year pa pala yon. So, maraming naapektuhan dahil sa post na yun kasi hindi sila pumasok, say for example. Next, is it a joke? If it's too outlandish, it might be satire. Research the site and author to be sure. Alamin kung biro or satire ito. Maaaring hindi seryoso ang nilalaman. No, tignan natin ng mabuti. Kailangan natin ng comprehension. Check your biases. Consider also natin yung own belief natin. no? Na makakaapekto dun sa judgment natin. Kilalanin natin yung mga sarili nating bias. Huwag nating hayaang maapektuhan ang personal na paniniwala. And lastly, ask experts. So, magtanong tayo sa mga eksperto and kumonsulta tayo sa mga fact checkers or even librarians para ma-verify natin kung tama or hindi ito. Now, I have here examples of fake news and I want you to evaluate and reflect on it. And ayun yung lesson natin. Today we have discussed about the fake news and also the ethical communication, the ethical standards of communication and identifying fake news. Lesson number 20 and 21. I hope that you have learned something for today. This has been Sir Don, and thank you so much. By the way, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me via the group chat. Thank you for listening, and thank you so much.